Jeff, our guest for today has been at the top of your list since the beginning of trying this experiment.
Yep.
And I know you're very happy.
I am.
Very excited.
I am.
Autographs have been signed.
They have.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Patterson.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for coming, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, you and I just saw each other yesterday. We
did.
Had a good old time at Danny Day's farm.
Man, we had a great time
There was supposed to be hunting. None of that took place.
It didn't happen.
We all sat around bullshitting. And
we sat around a table kind of like this one all day long.
Yeah, we did.
Shot the shit all day. It was great.
It was great.
So thanks for making the drive down from Arlington.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
You may be the longest drive we've had coming here yet.
Hey, it's worth it, man.
So obviously we're going to talk about your bands, Fevertree and Tora Tora.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff has been a fan, and I don't want to blow smoke, and we were kidding on the front end, but he does know a lot. Tons more than I know about Tora Tora.
You probably didn't have to print any of this up. You could have just asked me.
So this is Jeff's going to be driving this train for sure, and I'm anxious to learn more about you. That's what this is all about, to get to know you more and
cool.
Share some of your stories. So Jeff,
some of them may not make it.
we can always edit out. Man.
We can always go to Mike Bertoldo and get the rest of the skinny.
No.
So I guess I would love to go back. The way Derek's got this lined out, it's Fevertree and then Tora Tora, but I'm going to start chronologically and work my way forward.
Sure thing.
So obviously the first band that I know of you from was Tora Tora.
Right.
Is that your first band?
No.
Okay.
Keith and I go way, way back.
Okay.
We started jamming. I'm going to say it was probably 82, 83.
Okay.
We were in high school together, and we just kicked around some stuff, and we jammed with a guy that was at that time influential on my playing. He helped me. He's like a mentor to me. He was my age, but he's one of those guys that is really advanced in his playing.
Okay.
On drums, and then he can turn around. He's 17 years old. He turned around and played guitar just as well as he could drums. He could play anything.
Okay.
So we got together with him.
And what's his name?
Greg Busby.
Okay.
Yep. And I don't know what the guy's doing now.
Yeah.
But he was a big, he was a mentor basically for me back then. And,
awesome.
So we got together with him and we played a couple of songs. We never did any gigs or anything.
Yeah.
And then, let's hope I'm not forgetting anything, but Keith and I, right after high school, we got a band together called Lycanthrope.
Okay.
And don't ask me what that means, because I don't know. But we lived together in a duplex, and we played some like deep tracks from Judas Priest and stuff like that. And we gigged out on the town, and there was a place, can't remember, the Madison Avenue Club. And that was my first time meeting Alan Bone when he played with Tokyo Rose.
Okay.
Because we somehow...
What year was this again?
Man, I don't know. 85, 6, early.
So you guys go way back.
Right.
That's great.
This was pre-Tora Tora.
Okay.
And I think we opened up for them. I can't remember. I just remember we were there and they were playing and they had this big production going and they had the drum riser and all that stuff going on. We're like, man, these guys got it going on, man.
Right.
So
it's amazing what a drum riser will do.
Yeah.
It really
especially
is
in
good.
a little bitty bar when your head's probably this far from the ceiling. Anyway.
No stick tricks way up there. You'll hit the ceiling.
Well, speaking of Alan, and I hope he's listening because I have definitely complimented him about this. He did a show at Hadley's with Twin Soul. It was Every Mother's Nightmare, Twin Soul, Chasing Angels.
Yep.
What was that event? I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Benefit, I think.
But it was a benefit. But Alan brought his drum riser in, and it absolutely changed the stage.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that to him when I saw him another night. I was like, man, it just absolutely makes a stage just kind of go 3D and pop like that. So I've been there too. When you walk in and you're like, man, I wish we had a drum riser.
Yeah. They're kind of hard to tote around. We've got enough stuff as drummers to worry about setting up anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't have one.
So, all right. So Tokyo Rose, you met them, and then where did you go from there?
So from the Lycanthrope, that kind of fizzled out. And then we started forming Tora Tora.
Okay.
And we got Patrick.
How'd you meet those guys, Patrick and Anthony?
I actually met Patrick through summer school.
Okay.
Because
he probably wasn't supposed to tell that, was he, Patrick?
Well, it is. Everybody knows anyway.
Yeah, I get it.
So we had summer school and we met there, and I knew he played. He was actually in a bluegrass band. He plays guitar.
Okay.
Bluegrass. And he can pick pretty well.
Okay. Killer.
I think that had a lot to do with him becoming a really good bass player too.
Sure.
Having that familiarity with picking the guitar. But timeline, I don't know. It was a couple years later, we all got together, and Patrick went to Kirby with Anthony. Me and Keith went to Germantown. Me and Keith we had that end covered, the guitar and drums, and then Patrick and Keith actually grew up together. They knew each other since childhood.
Okay.
So they got together, and Keith, I guess he called Patrick, and Patrick brought Anthony in, and here we are.
Cool. Go ahead.
So you definitely hit all the players. What I was going to say about 5 minutes ago was like kind of as a joke. I'd be like, man, I'll give you a lifeline, because people come in here and forget their band members' names. They forget to announce.
Oh, they forget
and
to
it becomes a funny thing.
Hey, Rocco, how you doing?
So I had the band here, and I'm like, yeah, he got them all. Awesome. But and I'm just curious, Anthony Quarter, was that your singer? Singer, Keith Douglas. To recap this, Keith Douglas,
guitar,
mm-hmm.
Patrick, bass, and then you, of course, drums. Yep. Okay, cool.
And we're the four that started, and
you're still doing it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's what the greatest thing about it is.
We hear that all the time, no matter where we go. Is we can't believe it's the original four guys, and it's so rare nowadays.
Yeah.
People move on to do other things.
Think about the bands that you listened to, and I've got several. And you think about it, and very few of them still have the original 4 or 5 members.
We see that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine there was that period of the band's career where the realization came, okay, the 80s are gone.
Right.
Now we might have to get jobs. Right. Right.
There wasn't any might to it.
Had to be done.
And that typically can be what ends an original band, or really any band, but as a collective, did you all just decide, like, hey, let's give each other some space. Let's get our lives together so we can have families and everything, but let's still remain a band. Was that a conscious decision?
Well, it's kind of like, I guess, comparing it to maybe graduating high school or something. Everybody kind of goes out, but you keep the people close to you in mind, and you keep in touch with them. That's kind of what we did. We all kind of drifted off on our own direction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And maybe didn't even talk to each other for a couple of years, but we're still, we're always still a band. And I think all of us knew deep inside that we're going to get something going again.
Right.
And we did.
So what was the chunk of time, formation to the realization, all right, we're just going to drift?
88 to, I think it was 94.
So solid 6 years of chasing the carrot.
Oh, yeah.
So you're exhausted. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to be like, all right, I just need some space.
Yeah, it wasn't really exhausted. The music scene changed when Nirvana came out.
Yeah.
I mean, that killed our genre completely. It was like the death nail. So we'll get into it, but I think some of it needed to go away anyway.
Some did.
Oh, that's my argument.
Yeah.
You can, some of the hardcore 80s guys can blame grunge all they want.
Right.
But a lot of people needed something new.
Mm-hmm.
It had been around, man. It had a good run.
And I was 14. I was that formidable age when Nirvana hit. So my generation was like all into it. And then it blew up MTV. And then MTV is going to be like, well, all right, guys, see you later.
Yeah. Right.
And move on.
That's where
there was so much fluff. I mean, let's be honest. Some of these 80s bands towards the end were like almost embarrassing.
Right.
For the real bands. They must have been like, oh, really?
There was a lot of that thought,
I'm sure.
For sure.
So obviously the albums that I know of is Surprise Attack was the first record.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the follow-up, which was Wild America. And that was right after that was when the shitstorm hit and everybody, it couldn't be helped. And as the diehard Tora Tora fans, which I am one of them, I am one of the tribe, Revolution Day was this thing out there that we all knew existed but you couldn't hear it.
Couldn't get it. Mm-hmm.
And then it was years and years later.
Why not?
It was never released.
It got shelved.
Yeah.
We got dropped and it never came out. It wasn't distributed or anything.
You had no rights to it.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew it existed, people like me, but you just couldn't hear it. But then not too many years ago, it was released, which is awesome. I have gone out and listened to it and love it. Great record. You've also got Bastards of Beale, which was, how long ago is it now that album came out? Do you remember?
It was pre-COVID, so that was probably 18 or 19.
Okay.
We did that at Sam Phillips down on Madison.
Okay,
nice.
Right. And that was the last album, is that correct? There hadn't been an album since?
Well, we've recorded since, and we've yes, the whole album, yes.
Okay.
We've released some singles.
I just saw a new single that was just dropped recently. What's the name of that?
Little Girl Blue.
Yeah. And well, there's also another one I think that just came out. Or maybe, is that an Anthony Solo thing?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot.
We love doing that.
I got all my band members right.
Well, that's
Little Girl Blue was the last one. And then
there is one more recent, and hell, I can't think of it.
We do it on purpose. We just love
it. Just came out.
Making you guys squirm.
You guys take over for a second and I'll find out.
So how many albums total do you have? Is that putting you on the spot too?
No, it's 3.
3.
Like legit albums at 4.
4.
We got, Surprise Attack, Wild America, Revolution Day, and Bastards of Beale.
Yeah,
that's great.
And then we've got enough material in the can now to where we're going to release another one at some point.
Sweet.
So those albums, all singles, Spotify, Apple, everywhere.
Any digital platform you got, it's there.
And we should have mentioned this. Well, we definitely mentioned this in the intro that we have not recorded yet.
Neptune Society.
That's it. Good job.
But we're playing a song. We're playing a Tora Tora song at some point in this interview.
Yes.
We're going to play Nowhere to Go But Down. That was Jeff's request.
My personal favorite.
As usual, we're going to throw up some pictures. I already went to Tora Tora's Facebook page and
it's plenty there.
Just scoured it and awesome old logos. I tried to get as much as I could.
That's awesome.
So whoever's watching this when we kick into the song, you'll see some cool photos from the past and present because you guys were together back in the 80s. There's just these great band photos on there.
There's a lot.
Just classic. Yeah.
Well, we'll transition. Some of you, if this is reaching beyond the Memphis music community, you may not know that John's in another band called Fevertree.
That's right.
Which is an amazing original band from Memphis. So I'm going to let you.
Who's the bass player?
Rocco Walls.
There it is.
You, Rocco.
Yep. And we didn't wait till the very end.
And who are the other two? Mike. How do you say his last name?
Bertaldo.
Bertaldo. And then some other guy, right?
I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Tim Dills.
Tim Dills, everybody.
Yeah. OPT.
So, do you want to talk about the shirt?
Yeah. Man, Fevertree, speaking of Tim Dills, we've come out with a special limited edition T-shirt.
Okay.
It's all about our brother Tim.
Oh,
and
Lord.
man, I'm going to tell you what, it's the best T-shirt we've ever had. Here it is. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can't see where the camera is.
Back it up a little bit.
How about that?
There we go. Fevertree,
right.
Tim Dills, the Memphis Sweetheart.
Memphis Sweetheart. I mean, look at all that sexy on that shirt.
That's a lot of sexy.
Look, it might make some people want to be that microphone he's got in his hand. I don't know. I mean, that dude's got it going on.
Mike warned me yesterday that this could happen.
You can get that. Tim's got his own fan page. If you can become a Dillion there.
Yeah, I'm one of Dillions.
I got to be a Dillion.
Yeah.
You have to be a Dillion.
Yeah,
you have to be.
When I got the T-shirt, I christened myself a Dillionite. So
that's so funny.
It is.
So yeah, John came in with that request. He's like, I want to talk about this shirt at some point. Right?
Absolutely.
Perfect, man. We'll give us content to talk about.
And Tim's going to shake his head. He's going to look at the ground and just shake his head.
Yeah.
And it's just great because now that I've met Tim and he's been on the show, I have met Mike. Thank you again, Mike and Tim, for coming out to our New Year's Eve show. I've yet to meet Rocco, but I've chatted with him online because I think he's a great player and his tone's awesome and everything. But now I'm getting to know you guys. And it is fun how you guys interact with each other on social media and how much fun you guys have on stage and at shows. And then you guys come in here telling stories about these other people. And it's fun as hell.
Look, hey, if you can't have fun, it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's just
not worth it.
And it's a testament to you guys,
Well, and you can see a lot of times you'll watch bands and you can tell if getting along is something that's forced. And you can tell when it's genuine and people like each other and they're actually having fun. And when I go see a live band and they're having fun, that means I'm having fun.
All right.
And that's great.
And you guys rehearse, original bands typically rehearse a whole lot more than cover bands. And you're working on new songs. And more dedication, more commitment. You know, it's admirable.
Yeah, it's definitely, to me, it's fun work.
Yeah.
You know, when you got new ideas kicking around and you're not sure where things are going, like Mike might come up with a guitar part, or I might come up with I might doodle and play a drum part, and somebody goes, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, 15 minutes later, we have a song.
It leads to something.
It's a lot of the first album was done that way.
And where was it recorded?
At Dan Ward's place, The Loft.
Okay.
And is that a local place?
Yeah.
Here in Memphis.
It's down off of, it's right there at Cooper and Young, that area, off of Cooper.
Now, I know you guys have a new song that is going to come out soon. It's not out yet. I've heard it.
I've been, very privileged to get a sneak peek on that song.
Being one of the Dillions, you get these kinds of perks. And it's amazing. It sounds unreal. Where was that recorded?
Supernova Sound. That's Matt Montgomery and Dave Cowell.
Okay.
And Dave is the man. I'm going to tell you, that guy, when he gets on Pro Tools, it's just like, he knows what he's doing. And he's got this brain that he can hear things, and he knows how to communicate and tell people, okay, I heard him. Tim was doing his vocals, and Dave had ideas about backups and what to do, and you know the notes to hit and where to be, and it's just there.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to work at it.
If I'm not mistaken, that's where Alan Bones said that.
Yes, they did.
Resurrect the Faithful was recorded.
I'm going to rely on you to remember that for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's great. That's really cool. So speaking of music, shall we play?
I would love to do this because I love this song.
Nowhere to Go But Down.
Play it.
I say we play it, and then when we come back, talk about it.
We'll do some more talking.
Cool. All right, guys. Enjoy Tora Tora, Nowhere to Go But Down. All right, man. Thanks for letting us play that. Nowhere to Go But Down by Tora Tora. So as promised, let's talk about the song a little bit.
Let's do it.
Oh, there we go. That segued to a whole different band.
Yeah, I said I don't remember that one.
We didn't record that. So that song comes off of the Wild America album.
Yep.
Recorded at Ardent.
Yes, sir.
Here in Memphis, Tennessee. Tell us about that album, the experience of recording the follow-up album to Surprise Attack, which is a great album as well. How did that all work out? I know you guys worked with some very big names.
Yeah, we did.
In that studio.
Coming in for that album, we had all grown significantly as players because, I mean, we played so many gigs off Surprise Attack.
Right.
And the Surprise Attack album was actually a struggle because none of us had recorded any, and I couldn't even play to a click track, and I almost didn't get to play on the album.
Wow.
So, we busted our asses and got better as players, and you do that anyway, playing every night. It just happens.
Right.
And so we were really better prepared for Wild America than we were Surprise Attack.
Right.
But there was still a lot of pressure going on about, it's the sophomore jinx, what they call it. You got to come up with good songs. You got to have something it's got to do just as well or better than your first album.
Right.
So it took us a couple of years to get everything together for that album, but we went in the studio ready, and that song was actually written with Stan Lynch, Tom Petty's drummer.
Okay.
And Anthony Keith went out to L.A. and wrote with him.
Wow.
On that one.
He's on all the classic Heartbreaker stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic drum.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. I got to meet him after we recorded the album. We were playing, I think it was a whiskey. And he was there, and he came up to me, and he started doing this. And I said, we wrote 2 or 3 songs with him. And I said, what are you doing, man? He goes, man, you played on that song. It was great. And I said, well, I played your drum parts. I took what you did and just, played it like that because I thought they were awesome. So here's to you. But,
yeah, but what a compliment that is, though.
Oh, it was great. I was on cloud 9
Sure,
to have somebody like that give you a compliment like that.
Yeah, man.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Being as young as I was and influenced by people like that, it was a good moment.
How long did it take to record Wild America?
Oh, man, don't get me lying. I don't know.
Don't stop putting them on the spot, Jeff.
It's been so long
we can make it simple. Was it days or weeks or months?
It was months.
Months.
It was 6 months at least.
Okay,
It took a while. It wasn't a recording process. It was everything after.
Gotcha.
It was going back in and, getting the vocals right, getting the backups right, getting the different guitar parts, the leads.
Right.
Going back in and doing the bass.
The reason I asked that question is because a lot of people in the audience may not realize how long it takes or used to take. It really doesn't take.
It's not like that anymore.
It's not done like that these days. But back then, it took months to record an album.
And it must have been all analog, right?
Every bit of it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you guys have the masters? If
no, we
you're
don't.
not allowed to answer that, we can cut this out.
Yeah, we don't have it. Not that I know of. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something that I'm interested in. That sophomore jinx. Everyone knows about that. And going into that second album, you're on a record label, right? Remind me what the label is again.
A&M.
What is that pressure like? Is it talked about with the label? Are managers kind of on you and pushing you? They're putting some pressure on you, or
everybody is.
Wow.
You've got an A&R guy who is kind of like he's your guy. He's the one that gets you signed and all that. And back then, and he's the one that he's putting the pressure on you. Hey, look, you got to have this kind of song, this kind of song, this kind of, which is we didn't like it because we just wanted to write the songs we wanted to write.
Sure,
but then again, you're obligated. To a record company.
They're the one cutting the check.
They want to make some money.
Yeah.
And, we do too.
Sure.
So you're kind of forced into that world and you just do what you do. And that's how you end up writing songs with people like Stan Lynch,
Right.
Oh, so it helps bring different minds in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, we're going one way. And, honestly, the stuff we were writing was a lot heavier than most people realize. A lot of it didn't get released. It did later on the outtake albums that we put out.
Right.
And so I guess they were looking for more radio friendly stuff.
Sure.
And that's how that comes about. And, that's a great song.
Well, and Amnesia is a great song, and that song got tons of airplay and great video. And then I think that's a pretty heavy damn song myself. That's a great tune. So, Sorry, I just totally drew a blank. You got a question?
Dude, this is your job.
I know what I was going to do. Okay, so Surprise Attack. Did Wild America do better than Surprise Attack?
Hold on. Sorry, but we can't move forward without this.
Oh, God.
What is it?
Damn it. This is the stuff I love to keep.
Everything's falling apart.
So we lost concentration. So, and I forgot to introduce this sound.
Well, I haven't talked too much yet.
Okay, well,
you got to wait until I don't shut up. Then you can
shut up, eh?
Okay.
So when he gushes too much, I forgot to bring that up in the beginning.
But did Wild America surpass Surprise Attack in sales, or do you know that?
No, I don't really know for sure. It's about the Surprise Attack did better initially, but I think Wild America, we ran into distribution problems on that because our distribution company got sold. And so there was issues there. But
would you like to talk about touring?
Touring?
I would be very interested to hear what kind of touring Tora Tora did. It's easy to say. Was it bus, vans, flights, mixture of everything?
All of the above. It started in a 15-passenger minivan.
And I know you guys opened for some pretty big acts early on.
Eventually.
Okay.
Not early. We played to like 2 people in upstate New York early.
Kidding.
And our manager was in the audience going, "What's the name of the album?"
So what year was it when was the real traveling and playing in front of 2 people?
That had been 89.
Okay.
After the album got some traction, summer 89, Walking Shoes had come out. It did well on MTV. Got the top 5.
Right.
On the, Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
And, so we hooked up with The Cult and Bonham.
Oh, cool.
Jason Bonham?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jason Bonham.
He had a band called Bonham.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I know of him now and everything he's been doing. But,
right. Yeah. He's a lot younger than we all were. But that was a really cool tour because we had some big crowds, and Matt Sorum was the Colts drummer at the time.
Just going to ask you
that dude, we called him Uncle Matt.
Yeah.
He took care of us.
That's awesome.
He came on over and visited every day, and
how cool.
And I tell you, one of the coolest moments on that tour ever really was during sound check. I ended up on the stage, and it was me and Matt and Jason Bonham all playing Matt's kid at the same time, doing a 3-guy drum solo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like, man, and dude. I was looking around, I'm the kid, going, this is awesome. Man.
Right.
I'm playing the cymbals or rims or whatever I can reach. I'm standing on the outside. Matt's sitting behind his kid grooving, and Jason's on the other side doing the same thing I am. Just hitting whatever he can.
Yeah, there's not a drummer that came up in the 80s that wouldn't dream of that opportunity.
That was awesome because it was pretty surreal when it was happening, and I was aware enough to soak it in.
Sure.
So.
Did you keep in touch with Matt after you went into the Guns N' Roses
No,
deal?
we all kind of.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Just that way. But
so were these tours, several weeks strung together, or was it more in and out like weekends?
No, it was
long?
solid.
Gone.
I think that one was like 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So we got to know a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't see everybody, but a couple of the Bonham guys were cool, and Matt was great.
Yeah.
We saw him every day.
What are some other bands you shared bills with throughout the years?
We went out with Warrant and Lynch Mob.
Okay.
And that was on the later in that.
Yeah.
That was after Nirvana had come out and things were kind of changing a little bit. The landscape was very different by then, but it was still cool.
Sure.
And with the most fun we had was the first tour we went on was LA Guns, Dangerous Toys, and Us.
Wow.
And man, you talking about some shenanigans. I remember big dildos and drumsticks and people jumping around the stage and towel. There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. The cliche rock and roll behavior, it went on. So it was
great.
fun, though.
Okay.
Did y'all have your own bus? Each band have its own bus?
Yep. At that point, we did. We had moved from the van. All right, we started in the 15-passenger van, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I had to take my drums apart every night, stack them in each other.
Oh, dear God.
For everything to fit. And get to the next place, put them back together.
Oh, my God.
Load in, do it at the end of the night. So we graduated from there to, these custom vans with the cushion seats and
the
all
captain
that,
chairs.
The captain chairs.
Yes.
We graduated up to that and a Hertz Penske rental.
Hey,
So all our equipment was in there, and we had road cases by this time. So
solid upgrade.
yeah, definitely. And then we eventually got into the bus.
Yep.
You know, when I guess when we started selling enough tickets to warrant it.
Right.
Yeah, and the record label's willing to put that extra gas money in there.
Right, because that's expensive.
Oh, yeah,
I think it cost like $3,000 a week back then.
Oh,
for a bus and a driver.
I mean, we'll go out
Plus
with Derek.
fuel.
We'll go out with Derek, and I mean, we'll do one thing in Wisconsin and back. It's $1,000.
Yeah, or more.
It's crazy, you know. But I love having that bunk.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah.
The captain
It'll
chair.
rock you to sleep, man.
You know, seeing bands with the captain chairs, that was always a thing for us. Yeah, same way when I was really young. And then we'd see another band go to this stupid free festival we're playing up in northern Maine, right? And man, their van has captain chairs. And that was like a real thing. At least me. Oh, man, I would give anything. So then I finally get in a situation with the captain chairs, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's better than the last thing.
But jumping to the bus
seats.
The bus is a nice leap, though.
It is.
Very much so. So
it was awesome.
So, man, I hate to bring up the 90s again, but it's just very interesting to me because I'm 14. I was 14 when that hit. So it's always, you know, where it exploded for me.
Right.
You know, what was that like as a band? How did you see the labels react? Because there's this funny story. Warrant, pardon me, what's the singer's name for Warrant?
Janie Lane.
Janie Lane was on Behind the Music on MTV, and he was talking about how they were the kings of the label. Their latest album was above the front desk in a big sign. And then one day he walked in and it was Alice in Chains and it was done. I mean, it was just like that.
Right.
Did you experience anything like that?
No, not that
dramatic
and blatant. It was more subtle with us. You know, we knew things were changing because our A&R guy was gone. We got a new A&R guy, and you know, the enthusiasm wasn't there anymore. Yeah. So we felt it. And we knew, but we still did our thing. We were obligated to a third album. That's where Revolution Day came from.
Yeah.
So we did it. And by then, it kind of doesn't suck. But by then, we were really much better players than we were, even on Wild America.
Sure.
I mean, most of that album was done without a click or anything. And it was just go.
Really?
And that's how we did it.
That's awesome.
And, it came out pretty well for that. I mean, sonically, maybe it wasn't as strong as the other two albums, but they didn't put the money in it either.
Yeah.
So they were just, we had obligations, and so did they, and we did it. We did our thing and parted ways, you know.
What a bummer, though, man.
And man, I'm not complaining about anything.
Yeah.
You know, I did what a lot of people want to do, and I got to do it.
You lived a dream that a lot of us have had and weren't able to do it.
I love every minute of it.
Sure.
Very grateful for it.
That's awesome. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Sorry.
No.
What's the future look like for Tora Tora, especially in 2023?
Man. Shut up, bro.
I want to know what's going on. Are we going to have some Memphis shows?
Well, like I said, I just got off the phone with Keith. I talked to him for about 20 minutes coming down here. And we're kicking around some ideas. We're trying to get a couple of local shows together, and we're not through putting out music yet.
Yeah.
So like I said, we've got a lot of drum tracks in the can and a lot of partial songs in the can already. We did back, man, I don't even remember. I think maybe it was last year. Young Avenue Sound. We went in and I think we did 10 or 11 tracks.
Nice.
And this time it was different. Keith had already pre-recorded everything at his house.
Yeah.
And then I just came in and played along to whatever he had.
Okay.
It made my life easy.
Sure.
Because, you know, you don't have to deal with somebody going into the wrong part. It's all there. And it's like playing along an album. You just there and you're done. And you move on. You get them done quick that way. That's how we did Fevertree too.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
The last song that y'all heard.
Yeah.
The one that hasn't been released?
Right.
Oh,
Well, we had a live version that was way too fast. We play our songs a little bit fast live. And so Dave had the recording and he put it on Pro Tools, and we actually cut out about 2 minutes of it. It was about an 8-minute song. We cut it down to 6 minutes. And so we mapped it out that way. And Mike and Rocco sat down and just played along to a click and played the song. And then I went in and played along to what they had done.
Gotcha.
And we tracked 5 or 6 different drum tracks, and we're done. And an hour.
Cool.
It's crazy when you listen to it. I would have never known that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like you guys.
I actually
still
like
fit
that. You know.
Oh, sure.
That's
Yeah,
really.
it makes my life easy.
But it says a lot about your guitar players too. They were able to play in that good a time without their meter maker in the back.
Right.
Everyone knows a click track can only get. Yeah, it's just
there's
it
a
is
click
what
there.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to
click.
be able to still have that feel and to be really tight. So then when you just add post-recorded drums, it sounds like you guys are jamming.
Right.
It's really cool.
Well, now on that, he did go back and re-record the guitar parts. He just did a scratch track for me to play along to.
Oh, okay.
So
that
really
makes
all
more
we were
sense.
after,
Yeah.
and this is also the last at Young Avenue Sounds, is the way Tora did it too. We were just after drum tracks.
Yeah.
Then you go back in like we used to back in the day. You get the drum tracks down. You keep as much live stuff of bass and guitar as you can, and then you go back and patch everything together and do all that.
Okay, cool.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So they did go back with Fevertree and Tora and replace a lot of stuff, around me.
Mm-hmm.
I just gave them the foundation to do it.
Earlier, you mentioned for the first album or that era of Tora Tora, there was a chance that you weren't going to be the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing you hear of all the time.
Yep.
Obviously, it's huge in country music.
There's
touring and studio musicians, period.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of 80s bands that we all love that are all iconic that did have, musicians come in and do a song or two.
Sure. Yeah, you heard about stuff. I don't know anything for sure, but I know that Tommy Alders, he toured with Ozzy, but he's not the drummer that did, Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I just saw a thing, a YouTube thing where he goes through Crazy Train.
Yeah, I saw that
and
too.
he makes the comment that he wasn't the one that recorded it on the album.
Yeah.
But he was just giving you his take on the song and how he plays it.
But yeah,
but in your case though, it was probably a tougher conversation to have because in essence, what they're saying is like you're not ready to be in the studio.
Well, it was pretty much they're telling me I suck. You know? And I.
Hey, it happened. It happened to Ringo Starr.
Right.
Okay. It happened to.
I mean, it's either buckle down and work, or you go curl up in the corner and cry about it.
I just had that experience at the beginning of last year.
You talked about the click.
The click was not for me.
Right.
It was learning
if you're not
experience.
used to it, it's a foreign deal.
But once I got it, I got it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You got it,
and it clicked.
And I'll tell you what I did. They didn't tell me. My bandmates had to tell me that they're talking about you're not going to be able to play on the album because you can't play to a click.
Yeah.
So I said, well, okay, I'll go buy a click.
Yeah.
And Paul Ebersole was working on that first album with us, and he went with me. We bought a little Yamaha. I don't remember the model, but I programmed some clicks in it, and man, I just started working, and it was hard.
It is
because
hard.
I'd never done it. I grew up playing albums, and here I am thrust into this all of a sudden, and now I've got to get my shit together, or I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
So I did.
Well, good for you, because a lot of people wouldn't.
No, I wasn't taking no for an answer. I'm like, this is my my gig, and you're not taking it from me.
Absolutely.
There's some people with too much pride that they would say, screw you, and then bitch about not being on the album.
Yeah, sure. And that's one option, or the other option is to get your shit together and figure it out and do it.
Well, that album still, I lost a lot of sleep during those days because it was hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Plus all that pressure from the label, right?
Well, that's where it came from. Yeah. The pressure for me to play to a click that I've never played to before, and I'm trying to do these things I've been doing with a natural push and pull all my life. And now I've got to learn to not do that. And I'm under the gun all the time. It was stressful.
Yep.
But you got through it, man. And it made you better.
It did.
It's
absolutely.
I want to point out on the camera, it's pretty cool that you wore the T-shirt today that you wore. As we record this, yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of Neil's passing.
And today's the 8th, I believe.
Yeah, so the 7th.
The 7th is the anniversary.
And I bought this shirt 2 weeks before he died.
Yeah.
Not knowing he was about to die or anything.
2 years, hey?
Yeah, 2 years.
And they kept that secret, didn't they?
They did.
That he was ill.
And that is one of the biggest regrets I have in my life was I never went to see them live.
Yeah.
I got to see him a couple of times.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to Metallica this year. Second show. I'm not missing them anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Favorite band growing up and never went to a concert. It wasn't until 2016 I finally went to Nashville to see them live, and
took me.
Hetfield is my guy. Like everyone has their guy at Hetfield without question.
I got a story about them.
About Hetfield?
No, about Lars and the guitar player.
Let's bring it on. Kirk
Hammett.
Yeah.
Tell it.
Man.
So we're somewhere. I don't know where we were.
What era? What time?
This
what year?
is Tora Tora, probably the Wild America days.
So early 90s.
It might have been Surprise Attack. I don't remember.
So they're probably in the Black Album.
Yes.
Okay.
They were big. Everybody knew them.
Yeah.
And we did too. But these two guys evidently knew our lighting director.
Okay.
And so they show up on our bus. And we had this bus driver named Jim. And he was a big corn-fed country boy. I mean, you didn't mess with Jim.
Straight from Nebraska?
No, straight from Mississippi. He's a big old dude. He was huge. And he didn't like his bus getting messed up. You had to take your shoes off. You couldn't put your feet on the,
Jesus.
But I would do it anyway just to mess with him.
I mean, yeah, you're trying to wrangle cats when you're talking about a band back there.
He was really a pretty good guy. You just had to get to know him. But anyway, these two guys get on our bus, and Kirk is just sloppy. He can't even walk. And he's got a beer in the solo cup, and he's sloshing it, and it's spilling all over the furniture. And Jim sees this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'm standing there watching, knowing what's about to happen. And Jim, he's in the driver's seat, and I can see him looking in his mirror, looking back there going, man. He goes, hey, y'all get off my bus. And Kirk's like, man, do you know who I am?
Oh, he didn't do
Yes,
that.
he did
Give you
too.
the do you know who I am?
Jim, these are Jim's words. I don't give a fuck who you are. Get the fuck off my bus.
Oh, man.
And Lars is like, okay, man, let's go. He's pushing him out the door, and that was the end of that.
That is hilarious.
What's Kirk weigh? Like a buck 20?
Both of them are little guys.
Yeah.
They're smaller than I am.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I mean, those guys were called Alcoholica for a reason. Too. Back in the early years.
Lars was fine. He wasn't,
Yeah.
I don't even know if he was drinking or not.
Yeah.
He had to babysit Kurt. But
That's awesome.
I mean, I can't say anything. I got the same way. So
Oh, yeah.
it's pot and kettle.
Man.
It's just a funny story.
I have gigs I like next morning would forget a whole set. Like the next day, be like, "Fuck, I was like hammered last night," and then the whole band's mad at me. Back in the old days,
I used to not be able to go out and party if we had a show the next day
because you just feel miserable.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's when you drink on the gig and get through it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never could do that.
I was in the casino world and resorts world. So you're playing like 5 nights in a row at the same place, letting you drink.
Yeah.
So it'd be like Thursday. We're like, man, we just partied 3 nights in a row and the weekend's not even here yet. So it was bad.
Yeah.
We were very enabled in the casino world. They make it very easy. And especially if you have a gambling issue. I didn't, thank God. But
right. Yeah. I've never had that issue either. So,
well, before we get any time ready to wrap this up, I want to mention everybody that John has played with because I don't want to forget anybody.
Do you have it all in front of you?
I don't need it in front of me. Tim Dills,
yep,
lead singer from Fevertree. Mike Bertoldo, guitar player. Rocco Waltz is the bass player.
The forgotten bass player.
And then we've got the Tora Tora guys. We got Keith Douglas on guitar, Anthony Corder singing, and Patrick Francis is the bass player. And I apologize to Fevertree because I know I've spent a lot of this podcast talking about Tora Tora, but
it's okay.
they're all very aware that I'm a huge Tora fan, so they get it.
And it's been fun to see you. Kind of.
I'm on cloud nine. Now I just want the other 3 Tora Tora members to come in here for interviews. So,
but it has been just so cool though meeting people like you.
Yeah.
Everyone that's been in the studio. It's just it's wild that we're getting to meet you guys like this. And
man, Memphis is rich.
Yeah,
with musician history. I mean,
I'm embarrassed at how naive I was to the Memphis scene for all these years since 10 years, 12 years. I've been here now.
Yeah, it goes back to the 30s or whatever.
Yeah,
blues.
Yeah. But the 80s scene is what really is really cool.
I know y'all have talked about that a lot. I saw y'all talked about it with Alan, but
well, the 80s era was all about the record deal, right?
Yeah,
it was about packages and looks and branding and
look, it
was awesome. It was exciting to hear Memphis was really a part of that whole scene too. It was really
back
cool.
then. I mean, y'all heard it, but Memphis was it was booming.
Yeah.
The music scene was crazy back then. It's not like that now, but it's just different now.
Even a little prior to the era that we've talked about so much, you had the Jimmy Jameson stuff, Target, and those other bands that he was a part of, and
Cobra,
that was
Target.
Yeah, that stuff's a little prior to what we're talking about, but it was still
all through
a huge scene.
From what I remember, I was too young to get out, but late 70s all the way through mid 80s. It's like a 10-year block.
Yeah.
Memphis was, it was where you wanted to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was great.
Man, that's been awesome.
It has. And
I appreciate it.
Just like we tell everybody, we don't want this to be a one-time thing with you.
I'll come back.
Because I know that we have barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Because you've been there and done that for a long time. You've had a lot of experience, and I want to hear about more of it.
Yeah, or we can do things like let's bring in John Patterson and Alan Bone and talk about their favorite drummers.
Oh,
yeah, that would be fun.
So we have a panel.
Yeah,
and we're just bullshitting on influences instead of life story.
Right.
You know?
Or the next time you're on the phone with Keith, just say, "Hey,
I mentioned it to him.
Come to the podcast with me."
I mentioned it to him.
Keith? Why are you not here right now?
He's been moving. He's been busy, man.
So, I was supposed to have it in front of me. So yeah, both Tora Tora and Fevertree on Facebook.
Yep.
Just go search their names, and from there you'll get their websites and everything. Everything will be in the description, though. Clickable. Just go to the description.
We do have an old Facebook page that's inoperable that we can't get rid of. So
for which band?
Fevertree.
Okay.
I hope I got the right one.
It's all lowercase.
Okay, I'll have to make sure I get the right one before.
If you look at it and had no posts have been done in years, then it's the wrong one.
Okay. I'll double check.
That involves an ex-member that won't give us the password so we can kill the site.
That's the next episode right there.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, before we say officially goodbye to John Patterson here, where can people go here?
Facebook, YouTube. My voice, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher. Thanks, everybody, for the support you've been giving this podcast. It's amazing, and it's because people like you are willing to come in here and do these interviews.
Absolutely.
They don't give a damn about listening to us. They want to hear from you guys.
Great.
So we are thrilled about this, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Man, yeah.
Thank you.
Monday, 6 p.m. Central, full episode on Facebook and YouTube, and the audio versions are that morning. Check us out. Go to YouTube. Click our link tree in the description. That will take you to all our platforms, too. So it's all very handy for you. And Patreon. If you can spare $12 a year, that goes a long way. And also say hello to my website, shelbyroadproductions.com.
Yep.
It would appreciate it. So, John Patterson, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
And looking forward to doing this again, man. Thank you.
Me too.
That's Derek.
That's Jeff. Take care, y'all.
See ya.